Hi, I'm Sammy S. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sammy. I sign as well as speak. You can find me on Instagram at Sammy Signs and Speaks. So there will be little bits of incorporation of sign language with the speaking, but once I get more fluent, then I might do more videos just in sign. So if you're wondering why I start my intro the way I do, that's why. So today we're going down a little bit of a different route. I want to kind of go into something a little bit personal with you guys and talk to you about something that's a pretty big thing, I suppose, in my life, and a choice of where I want my life to go or not go in this case. So, little disclaimer. All of what I'm about to talk about is 1, my own opinions, 2, from my own experiences, and 3, my decision. So I will respect what you think as long as you respect what I'm going to tell you guys. Just so you guys know, because I always say this in my videos, my pronouns are she and her. So I do identify with my birth gender. I'm going to reference everything from my perspective as a cisgendered woman. Also, let me know your pronouns. Like I said at the beginning, I will respect how you feel and I will respect your opinion as long as it is respectful, not derogatory towards myself, and not sort of gaslighting towards me. This is solely my perspective and this is my life and this is my choice and it's what I'm doing with my body, and I expect people to respect that. So I'm just gonna grab my tea because I'm about to spill loads of it. What I want to talk to you about is why I do not want to be a mother. This could be somewhat controversial in a lot of ways, I suppose. Some people don't care. Other people would be like, you don't want children. You must hate children if you don't want children. That's incorrect. I now love the children in my life. I didn't like children for a long period of time. This is a decision that I have known for a very long time. In fact, 20 years. I was about 10 years old when I made the conscious effort to never want to be a mum. It seems like quite a far-fetched thing to say because obviously a 10-year-old wouldn't normally think about that, but my circumstances in my childhood were somewhat not normal, so my brain development was different in comparison, I guess, to other children, and my upbringing was not great. We'll just leave it at that. I'll be honest, I didn't like children of my own age. I wasn't really bothered about holding babies and playing with dolls and all that kind of cliche gendered, that's what girls do. I wasn't that type of little girl, I suppose. It came to my attention from a young age that I didn't want to play like mummy and daddy and all this sort of stuff. So it was never a thing that I was interested in. As I developed and grew up and I hit like adolescence, I began to realise that these feelings inside of myself were very deep rooted, and I became adamant by the time I was 16 that it was a no-go. It was a straight up no-go. It was not happening. Basically, what I want to do with this conversation is normalise the idea that women and people who choose not to have children, it's fine, it's normal, it's something that shouldn't just be expected, especially of people, women, basically. It shouldn't be the be all and end all. You know, I am not here to be an incubator for a small human. I'm not here to do that. That's, to me, that is not my life purpose. You know, and I have been battled with the whole, what are you going to do when you grow old? Who's going to look after you? And my question to that question is, how can you guarantee your children are going to do it for you? You don't. You don't know whether they're just going to sling you into a care home and be like, bye. Bye. Basically, I've always known I've not been maternal. And I think some people are just born that way. It's only since I've been with my now partner that I've come to realise that the children in my life now, like my nieces and nephews, they mean an extraordinary amount to me. I love them and I would move the earth for them, but they don't make me feel like I need to have my own child. Same with my godson. Love him, would do anything for him, but again, it doesn't bring out that kind of instinct further. I will, however, clarify that yes, my body clock has kicked in because I am 30 years old. I turned 31 this year, and yes, it is very normal for the body clock to kick in. And yes, it's been a battle because obviously I'm going against what the natural instinct wants, against what my noggin is telling me I don't want to do. So there have been times where it's been tough, where I've had to kind of go through the motions, and I'm very open and honest with my partner and with people around me when I'm having a bit of a moment where I'm like, I need to have a baby. But for me, the negatives outweigh the positives in a lot of instances, so I'm going to go through that. So growing up was difficult when you're strong-minded like this, because you're hit with walls throughout of, you know, nobody's going to really listen to a child, like a 10-year-old saying, I don't want to have babies. They're just going to go, yeah, whatever. But when you're sort of 16 and you're saying as a teenage girl, it ain't happening, you're then hit with the, oh, you'll change your mind. And I've always found that quite patronising to some extent. I've kind of got used to it as I'm older. It's like water off a duck's back now. But back then I used to get really like aggravated by it, and I've never been conventional. My stepmum once said she's never ever been conventional, and I don't think she will be, and she's right. It kind of looks like I'm going against the grain out of spite, but it's just how I am. I just don't conform the way that I guess is expected of me, and I've always pushed against that. By 16, like, I had made my mind up, like it was final, it was not happening. So then I was hit with all the questions of, you'll change your mind, and who's going to look after you then when you're older, and all this sort of stuff. So then I kind of go through the motions with that, whatever. I then hit sort of my late teens, early 20s, and then I'm still adamant that this isn't what I want. And it's not white wine this time, it's just tea. So then I end up getting into relationships, and I have experienced verbal abuse, basically. I've been slandered, I've been told that I'm not a real woman, I've been told that it's awful, like how could I not want children, they're amazing. I've basically been guilt tripped and blackmailed and gaslit to up into my eyeballs, basically. Yet it made me dig my heels in more. I think because my dad's an Aquarius, I swear, like, the Aquarian traits probably wore off, because my dad is really stubborn too, so I'll blame my dad for my stubbornness then. And then that was the other thing. It was my parents, like my stepmom and my dad's friends. So when are you going to have children? When are you going to have children? When are you going to make them grandparents and all this sort of stuff? And I've also dated people with big families before, and they've all gone and had like children at like 21, 22, 23. And at that age, like me at 21, I was a wild child. I was out partying all the time. The last thing I wanted to be doing was being around children, but I just couldn't be around them. Just couldn't be dealing with the crying, couldn't be dealing with any of it. So I was just like, I'm off out, I'm laters, bye. And I look back at that and I'm like, that was really, really not great. That was not a great decision. That was awful. In fact, that was such a shitty thing to do. I just knew, I was so adamant that I was just going to go against everything. Like, I was adamant at that age, that specific age group. I was just like, nah, like, keep me away from it. Then I sort of hit my mid-20s, and obviously that's sort of the age where people like were starting to like get engaged, starting to get married, starting to settle down, all that sort of stuff. And I was just like, I'm going out drinking still. And I still faced the backlash. I still faced the bullshit. I'm just gonna say it as it is, the bullshit, the stigma that surrounds young women that is expected of us. And I'm just gonna say it now. The people that said that I was less of a woman for not having children, would you say that to a woman who wasn't fertile? Would you say that to a trans woman? No, you wouldn't. It was never something I wanted, and I was so determined to prove almost to people by being so stubborn about it that I was hoping eventually they would let go of trying to badger me, essentially. But yeah, I was subjected to a lot of abuse. I was subjected to name calling. I was subjected to a lot of gaslighting and blackmailing and stuff. But not once did any of that come from my stepmom and my dad. And my stepmom and my dad to this day still massively support the fact that I don't want children. And my dad has very openly, and my dad is brutally honest sometimes, he's admitted if he could redo his life again, he wouldn't have had children. I mean, he loves me and my brother to death, but he's said, like, if I could redo it, I would do it just how you're doing it. And I appreciate the honesty. Like, I can take the honesty, it's fine. I get it. And also as well, now that I'm a little bit more settled around children, and I mean, I love, like I said, I love the kids in my life, they're fantastic. But when you are around parents and they're telling you, the person that doesn't want children, it's hard work, nappies everywhere, toys everywhere, foods everywhere, washing coming out of your ears, this, sick, the whole shebang, like everything that's gross, quite frankly, you're only cementing it more that I've made the right decision. And I've witnessed one of my nephews taking his first steps. Amazing moment. I'll treasure that moment forever. And like those moments I get why parents love having kids. Like, I get it. But for me, it's not enough. And it isn't enough. You know, as I started to get older, I thought it would get easier, and to some extent it did. And I'm really lucky because my partner's family are really accepting, and my family is super accepting. And, you know, my partner is also adamant on not having children. So it makes life a lot easier. But what I'm trying to do with this video is really break the stigma around the pressure that, I'm just going to say, like, for now, like, women face. But I'm not obviously sort of taking away from non-binary people and all that do have, you know, that don't want children too or whatever. So don't feel like that's my intention. But like I said, I'm just doing it from my point of view. I just feel like there is too much pressure and people need to lay off. And I think parents need to stop expecting to have grandchildren when they want grandchildren. I think that's another big issue. You know, your children are not obliged to have children because you want grandchildren. I think the sooner parents accept that, the better it could be. Each to their own. If you want to go and have 5 children, 2 children, whatever, you crack on. That's your prerogative, it's your life. You can do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. But let me do what I want to do. And having kids ain't it. And I'm comfortable. Like, I am so perfectly content with my decision. And although I have faced the body clock kicking in, I just roll with it now. I'm just like, it is what it is. It's just nature. It's just nature's way of saying, hurry up. But it is what it is. So another thing I want to talk about is medically, it will be difficult for me to have children. I have fibroids on my womb, which could make me infertile in the long run. I'm also 31. I know women have children at 40 and all this sort of stuff, but I don't know when I'm going to hit the menopause, okay? So on a medical term, I've got problems down there. I have hormone imbalances and all sorts of stuff, and it's just grisly and it's not good. Medically, but mental health wise, I have mental health list is like this. It's like going all the way down here and it's over there. And also postnatal depression is massive in my family, huge. So that's the other ish. I don't want to, on top of my mental health problems already, to go through postnatal. That, quite frankly, I think it could kill me, if I'm to be honest. The prospect of carrying a baby also terrifies me. I suffer with body dysmorphia, so the last thing I need to be doing is being pregnant, because I think that would just tip me over the edge. There's a lot of reasons why I don't want children. It's not because I'm being an awkward mare, it's because I have really thought about every aspect. The older I've got, the bigger the list, basically. At first it was just, I don't want kids. Now it's, I've got medical conditions. I'm in therapy at the moment, so I'm aware now of my mental health problems. I have a lot of issues and I don't want to add to it. Financially, it's not feasible. I've got goals I want to achieve. I've got traveling I want to do. I've got all sorts of stuff that I want to do with my life. And I'm not saying that to be a bitch. I'm saying that because that is the only way that I can put it. That's as simple as it gets. That's as simple as it gets. You know, I've been hit by people who are, you know, not hit physically, but like verbally, who are religious with cultural differences. I got told recently if I don't have a child, it'll be a curse. I respected the man's cultural differences, but he didn't respect me, so I just blocked him. I don't need people to try and guilt trip me. It is not what I was put on this planet for, and I will not be doing it to keep other people happy. I've gone through enough in my life without adding to the pressure. It's another thing, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time that I could be doing whatever the fuck I want. Financially, it's not right. Psychologically, it's not right. Environmentally, it's not right. Biggest carbon footprint. We're overpopulated already. I'm doing you all a favour if we're going to go down that route. I'm listening to David Attenborough, okay? The man is a god. My partner's smirking at me. Right. The reality of why I don't want children now, as a 30-year-old woman, now we're taking all that past stuff out of the equation. I hate the world we live in. It's corrupt, it's fucked, and I am not bringing a child into a world that's slowly destroying itself. That's it. You see it all over the news, you see it all over this platform, you see it all over social media. Why? Why would I subject my own offspring to that? Why should I? It's awful, and it's gonna get worse. I worry all the time about the kids in my life and how they're gonna be okay in the next 20 years. Crosses my mind on a regular basis. And that is the real fucking tea, sis. I don't like the world we live in. And that's coming now from a 30-year-old Sammy rather than a 16-year-old Sammy who just didn't want to have children. It's coming from a 30-year-old instead of a 10-year-old who didn't know why she didn't feel like, oh, babies, they're so cute. Who was like, I don't want to do that. But as I grew older, I knew that it wasn't for me. And I'm lucky, I've got people that support my decision. But I think this needs to be normalised. I think the conversation needs to be normalised. And I think it is wrong to assume that women should have children, because you don't also know their medical history, and I think that is a very dangerous territory to be treading on, because you don't know. You don't know. And plus as well, there are loads of kids in foster homes and waiting to be adopted, and they're just sat there in that shit system, and I don't think it's right. So that, I suppose, wraps up why I don't want to be a mum. But yes, I have faced abuse across the board, verbally and from a multitude of people, whether it's cultural differences, whether it's religious differences, or whether it's just people thinking they've got a right to butt their nose in and tell me how I should live my life. I am the only one that decides what I want to do with my life, and me and my partner are the only two that make the decisions as a couple what we want to do with our life. And ultimately, it wouldn't be him carrying the child, it would be me. And there is no way I am going to do that. But I will just say I really support whatever anybody else wants to do. Like I said at the start, this is all my own opinions. This is all my own experiences. And this is from my perspective as a woman. Sound off in the comment section below. Don't want to drop my tea. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let's interact, let's converse. Also, it is a shout out time. Her name is Alice the Fabulous. You can find her on Instagram at Alice the Fabulous, and she is also on TikTok under the same name, so make sure that you go and check her out. She also has a small little business on the side, so that will all be linked in with her profile, so make sure you go and check her out. The next one I want to shout out is my girl Marley Maria. Yes, make sure that you go and check her out too. She is on Instagram as that, so I will link her at below. And then the final shout out goes to my feminist queen that is Changes Pitch. She is on Instagram under that name, so make sure that you go and check those three wonderful ladies out. They are part of this video because they too do not want to have children. So I wanted to have creators that were a shout out, that shared the same opinion as myself. So those three wonderful ladies, go check them out. Their links will be below. I think that will be it from me. But thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.